All right, here we go. This one's going to be developing a template cost planning book. And we're going to go right into it. So here we go. So what we're looking at here is a planning book that I was working on earlier today. And essentially what's going on is I have a new project that I got to get done. It's a fast track project. So uh, I called, we're a union company, so I called my union hall and I said, hey, I need a bunch of folks and this is what I need. So they gave me a bunch of names. I just changed the names to protect the innocent, changed their phone numbers to protect the innocent. And anyway, I would write these down as carpenters call me and laborers call me and put their stuff, put in some information about them. Uh, I ask them questions just to see uh, whether they're willing to work the hours that we need them to work, the type of work that we're going to be doing, that type of stuff. Just a basic interview. I ask them how many years they've been in the union itself and how much time they had prior to the union and what they did. So essentially, just to get a feel for who's there. Um, yeah, but the way I started out is um, I had an empty spreadsheet and I built it out real quick like this. I got some potential subs that I've got to contact, and essentially I want to put those down. This is how I'm developing a project that I already have. It's a cost plus fee. So, and as fast as we can go. So I have to get rental equipment. So I built this little spreadsheet for rental equipment so I can sort of track how much we're going to be spending, what my anticipated uses are over time, what I expect to be charged based on the current pricing. Okay. There's some automation in here that I'll show you a little bit of what it does, but I think I'd rather not show you all of it. So just to give you an idea, let's jump in here. I'll close some of this up so you don't see all that. Um, just to give you a quick idea what's going on. So a SkyTrack telehandler in our area costs $690 a day, 1605, and these are published prices online. You can grab them anywhere. I'm going to need them for at least 2 days. All right, at least. But that was just fictitious. I was working on that just to figure it out. So I'm going to say probably going to need it for a month. All right. So it should cost me $34.50. Right. It's automated stuff. And if I change this, let's say I only need it for half a month. Now it's 5 days because I decided I don't need it. We got a different way of handling it. I'm expected to pay 1605 because after 2 days of straight pay, it's better to go by the week. So that's what my expected cost is. This is the use of 5 days, and I can change that by dynamically changing this. And I can also move it to 63 days, which essentially creates a month, right? And it's multiple months. So that would be my expected cost for 63 days. All right, I did all this just to make it easier for me. So when I'm developing how much my projected cost will be, how much my cash flow is going to be coming out of the project, and how it's going to impact other projects, I can work on it here. I can be real careful and manipulate when I want certain things to arrive and whatnot. So it gives me some planning power. So I'm going to show you how to make one of these. Pretty straightforward. And that's what this is about. All right. So let's get started with a new project. So we're going to go on. Oops, shoot, I got it on the wrong one. We'll use it on this one. What the hell? Who cares? All right, we're going to start with new. We're going to go right to the spreadsheet. And we'll call it the template cost planning. All right, so this is where potential employees. All right, and I'm going to do employee one. And what I do is when they call me, I actually put their name in, but we're going to just do this for fun. All right, what kind of information do I want? I want their phone number, so I need contact info, right? And probably an email, but that's not necessary at the moment. And we're gonna say who, tab, skill level. Position. You don't have to put it all down right now, so, but, we can even say priority. So you can put those, and we can change the names as we go. So priority selection. All right, we're gonna mess around with this a little bit, but let's just set it up. So I want to set this up so I have the correct format. So once again, I click on that, go up to here and put a colon and a B, and I hit that. All right. So that sends it all the way down. I can go to formatting. I want to format a number. It's going to be a custom number format. And I've already done this, but I'll show you how it's done. Okay. So you can do it like this. You can do number, dash, number, dash, number. But I don't like doing that because I want the actual leading numbers. So I go 000 dash 000 dash 000 0. If you want to add a country code, you can go +00 dash. Okay, you can add it like that. And this shows you what your template will look like. Okay, I don't want a country code. Everybody that's going to this project is local. So now that's all formatted. So I can do 206-886-8876. Okay, and then boom, it formats to that. Got it? All right. This is an email. We can set it up to be an email, but it's more or less once you type it in. So yeah, I'm not gonna mess with that. Eventually you can, once you type in an email, let's see, Q uh, at Builders Flux. Okay, there's an email. So I can insert a link and it's gonna go to you. Okay, and it's gonna link to that. So there we go. And send, so it gives you an automatic email to them. Got it? All right, that's how that works. So you can goof around with that. There's no such email as that. So I'm gonna remove the link and delete that. Skill level. He says he's a journeyman. Okay, so that's what we do. He wants a journeyman's position. Fine. And I want to have a priority selection. So here I'm going to change this. I'm going to make F2 to F, go back down here, add some data, put data validation, add a rule, drop down window, up. Um, 1. I'm just going to do this for 2 and 3. Okay. So, and then I don't like those chips. I like the arrow. Done. All right. So this guy, let's say he's got a skill level of journeyman and he's been, and I want to see the reason why I'm doing this. So to the left, I'm going to say experience. And this is union experience. Okay. He's been in the union for 8 years or 7 years. How about that? 7 years. I like to have a better format so it's cleaner to look at. Boom, boom. Then I go here and I switch this back to that. Control, re-enter, switches that. Now I've got there, go across here, change a little bit of darkness. Let's do a little blue, have some fun, do some white. Boom. All right. And you can add more stuff to this as you go. So on this one, I had added assigned position, things like that. But you can add anything you want that makes sense to you. I added this later. So the main thing I did when I first got people, I got their names, their level, their skill set, and notes. The rest of this stuff I filled in later as I was planning. Okay. So we're in the same situation here. Gosh darn it. Why they switched out like that? It pisses me off. All right. So that gives you a sheet to when people make phone calls, you put their name in, do your thing, get their info, off you go. Next thing we want to do is we want to add a sheet for vendors and subs that you need for the project. Now, I know I need an iron worker company. I need an inspection company, an architect, facilitator. Need someone to push the permits through. We're gonna need painters. What else? Rental company, etc. And on and on. So you just put that in. So and you can write what, who, when, and you can throw notes in there. Pretty straightforward. You don't want to spend a whole lot of time building this because you're going to build it as you go. All right. I'm a firm believer of making it simple. Pretty straightforward. There we go. All right. Here I want to make it a date. So again, C2 colon C, hit enter. Go up to the data validation. Click on data validation, add a rule. Go to the drop down, hit is valid date. Done. And what that allows me to do then is to click on it, right? There you go. And on the original one that I did, so potential subs, I pretty much did the same thing. Who, what, and note. That's all I really need right now because I'm going to break down all the details and I'll be adding more subs as I go and applying names to whatever subs they are. All right. Then we're going to look at the rental. So here we're going to go and make another sheet. We're going to call this rental equipment. You can call it equipment. I don't really care. If you have in-house, do in-house, yard equipment. Who knows? Who cares? But whatever works for you. Then I want to know what the equipment is, where it's at, where it's going to be located on the job site is more important to me than where it is, like at the yard or in transit. I don't care about that. Where am I going to put it on the job site? How many I need, when I need it, and on and on and on. Okay, so and then I look online to get some pricing, so I have a fair idea of what it's going to cost me. All right, and then we're going to develop a drop down list for vendors. So that's what we're going to do next. So here we go. So we want what I like where and when. I guess how many first. Let's do how many. How many, when, in, when, out, um, rate, daily rate, weekly rate, yeah, and monthly rate. And expected duration. Gosh darn it. Unit. Um, oh, and vendor. And then there's other stuff we can add to it later. All right. I need a forklift. I need a material hoist, man lift, um, pipe bending, um, saw. Let's call it a saw shop. Nah, I don't like saw shop. Let's do rigging gear. Goodness. All right. Okay. Forklift. I need that ground level. Material hoist. I'm going to need on level 2. You can do LVL2 if you wish, or L2, whatever nomenclature works for you. Man lift L2. Pipe vendor ground. Rigging gear ground. Okay, but you can do anything you want. And what we can do here, so now that I've got this set up, I can click on that, right? Hit B2 to B, colon B, enter. And now I'm going to do a data validation, add a rule. It's already going to add in these potentials. Okay, so let's add another item. We can add a data room, data level 1. Okay, conference L2. Get the idea? Then you drop down here, hit the arrow, boom, done. So now I can just go through and do the whole thing. If I need to change it, I want to add something new, I click that little guy right there, edit button, and it takes me over here to fill out some more. Done. All right, how many do I need? Well, I only need 1 forklift. I'm going to need 3 hoists, man lift, 2 man lifts, 1 pipe bender, 1 set of rigging gear. When? Oh, no dates here. So what I'm going to do here is I want both these to be set up for dates. So D2 colon E, hit enter. That grabs both of them. And then we add a rule. We're going to drop down is validate. And we're done. All right, daily rate. This is going to be, these are dollars. Okay, so I want to do the same thing here. I want to format that. So F2 to H, hit enter, and then I'm going to format those to dollars. There we go. All right, I don't know. Let's 650 a day. A week it's 1250. Month is 2500. I'm making this stuff up. You'll have to look it up. I don't particularly like having those extra zeros. I don't need them. So once again, I can go to F2, hit colon H, and then I'm going to use this decrease decimal spaces. 1, 2. Now I'm happy. Okay. So, and I like everything centered for the most part. So I'm gonna hit center, but on this column, I like to have it on to the left. So there we go. I want to change the top to make it look pretty. So boom, boom, do your own thing. All right, duration. I think I'm going to do it for 1 week. So 1W vendor. Haven't set up the vendors yet. They're over here. I can show you how to do that later, but right now I'm just going to type it in. So I'm going to do Sunbelt. And then, so that's that. So I want to keep these units correct. So maybe I want to make it a WK, right, for a week. And I don't want anyone to change them, and I don't want to keep messing with it. So once again, I hit the J2 colon J, hit that. We are going to do a data validation, and we're adding a rule. So it's a drop down menu. We're going to do daily. And we'll do a month. Okay. And I want to do it so it's sequence. So I just grab these, drag and handles to move things up and down. I like it day, week, month. That's how I want to see it. I guess you could put year in here. This project's not going to last that long, so I'm not going to worry about it. So I put that down and close that. Ah, shoot. I'm going to, here, I'll do it this way. I'm opening this back up, changing that to there, boom. Apply to all, boom, and there we go. I'm going to do the same thing with Sunbelt. So let's do K to K. Hit enter. And again, data validation. Add a rule. Sunbelt, add another one. National. Add another one. Jimmy John's. Jimmy Wentz. Okay, so there's that. I hate the chips, so I go to there. And there we go. So now we're all set up to start getting this together. Pretty straightforward, right? Now, what I did with this one, so once I got all this running and figured out, filled in all this information, I wanted to be able to track it on this sheet. You don't have to track it on this sheet. This is just a planning sheet. I was just messing around and thought, you know what, maybe I'll track it on this sheet, maybe not. But also I was running out of working space, so I added this little hideaway. So once I've got all the numbers down from the internet, I can hide this information. That opens it up a little bit so I can see, work more with my workspace. So let me show you how to do that. So click on that, click on that. I'm holding down my shift key and clicking on the H. So I got the whole thing highlighted, all 3 columns. I go up to view and I hit group. Boom. It puts it right over the column just before what I'm hiding. And that's how you do it. Pretty straightforward. You can do the same thing on this side too if you want to hide some rows if you're getting tired of seeing stuff that you've already dealt with. Go over here, hit group. So you group in there, and so you can hide these rows too, and it'll take you right to the sevens. All right. So to get rid of that, you hit your right mouse, remove group. Voila. Okay. All right. So if you want to put a total, figure out your total if you're doing a week duration, you can definitely put it here. Expected cost is equal to, and let's make this easy so I can see what it's doing. Is equal to whatever this is times that, right? In this particular case, I'm just going to be going, this is not the right way to do this, but this is an easy way to do this. You can force it by doing that times your weekly rate, right? Voila. That's what you're expecting. But that's not the best way to do it because you want some flexibility, right? You want to be able to have this automated. So my expected costs are written right here. So this is an array formula. This this is a formula that essentially does the math for me. So as I manipulate things over here, it will automatically figure out the 63 days is what it's going to work on. And when you multiply, it'll test it. So it'll test it to see if it's blank. If n to n is blank, that's this row right here. If that's blank, then it's going to stay, it'll stay blank. Okay. If it's not blank, then it's going to do E and E to E minus D to D, which is just this column minus this column, the date columns minus that, right? And that's where I come up with 63 days. So I'm using this to give us an idea of how many actual calendar days there are that this piece of equipment is going to be on site. And then I use a formula to test it. Now this formula is up here, sorry, right here, so that it automatically will fill out. No matter, I don't have to do anything more here. All my work is going to be here. So I will eventually, if you will, I can protect these so no one can mess with them because there's formulas in there. Where it is. Yeah, there it is, protect range. See at the very bottom of the view more column actions, right there, protect range. The description is formula. And you can write anything you want in there. Set permissions, you want it to set who can get access to it and who can edit it. So there we go. All right. Now, anyone outside of those groups cannot go in here and edit it. I can, so I'm not going to be able to show you right now, but you wouldn't be able to get access. All your work would be over here. And you can do that for anywhere you have formulas. So there's a formula array above here. And I want to show you real quick what that looks like. So what this is doing, this whole column is affected by this array. So there's really no data here. No one can type in any data in here. So I need to put this in my protection. So this row gets protected as well. Down here to more columns, protect range, formula. I just add a 1 to it just to make it easy. Same old, protected. Now what's happening here, and I'm going to close this out and zoom in a little bit. Okay. So what's happening here is when we set something up, we hit an equal sign that says it's going to be a formula. When you're writing an array formula, you're going to write in if error and then put everything in that if error parentheses. So that what happens is if something happens within the guts of this whole thing, it will come back reading an error. Okay. So as you're writing these in your script, in your columns, uh, every once in a while you'll see an error. It's because this guy found either there was something wrong, the syntax is incorrect, something's wrong with your formula. So, all right, so that's what if error is. It's a great little catch. Always put it in. Embrace everything with parentheses, and you're fine. So an array formula is used um, to sequentially multiply or do some type of mathematics or something similar along a row that's matching all the way down in a column. So a column times a column that matches the row. So everything in row 5, 4 times whatever the dates are, whatever uh, these are here, right? The price for the day. If I was to put in like 1 month here, for example, that's going to give me 4 pieces of equipment times the monthly rate gives me that. All right, so that's supposed to for 1 month. If I change that to 2 months, that'll change. But the idea is here, I want to show you what the formula looks like. So we're going to look at the formula. All right, so what this is, and when I use ifs, so what ifs does, if you've never used it, it takes the first thing in the parentheses. So I'm sorry, the first thing that's ahead of this comma, and that is your test. If row A to A is equal to 1, so if it's row 1, and you have to use A to A in arrays because it's looking down the entire column. If A to A, row A to A is 1, so that's assigned this one, make it blank. So that's what this is going to be. It's going to be a blank. Okay. Next, if A to A is equal to 2, I want it to read estimate cost. So that's what that's reading. So that puts estimate cost in there, puts a title. If it's neither of those, okay, it's going to go to the next one. So it's sequential. So test this one, then test this one, then test this one, and on down the line. So here it's asking, is J to J equal to D? J to J is here. No, it's equal to M. Okay, so since it's no, it's going to skip this. So this is if it's yes, it's going to multiply the quantity needed by the date, month, year, and by F. And F would be here by the day. Okay. But it's not, it's reading M. So it's going to jump this now. So this J to J equal to D? No. It jumps this. J to J equal to W? No. It jumps this. J to J equal to M? Yes. Then it'll go quantity times the estimated usage, the days, the number of days, number of months, whatever it is. Okay. And then it's going to do times H. And H would be the month or the weekly, which is a set 4 weeks, which is essentially a month. But that's how they write it up in the website for the rent. They don't go by months, they just say 4 weeks. So they establish it at 28 days. That's all. So it's a consistent 28 days. All right, so if none of that's true, right? So if for some reason this was empty, here, I'm gonna delete that. All right, that one's not, there's nothing in there. So there's no D, there's no W, and there's no M in J to J. So then it drops over to here. Okay. This is just a command to the computer to say, if nothing prior to this, then put a blank in there. Okay. Just leave it blank. I can put a 5 in there and they'll get a 5 all the way down. See? All right. So let's stick with that. I want it blank. So you can do all sorts of things with array formulas. I actually like them. I use them a lot when I'm developing these things. We can go into greater detail at some other point. Maybe we'll do some more of these. I use a couple different types of arrays. So this one's a test to actually take a look. So if we actually had 63 days of use, it will test, first of all, test to see if we're in row 1. If so, title it act use. So actual use is what it stands for. If we are in row 2, then we're doing, I want quantity days in there. Okay. If D to D is blank, I'm using is blank for D to D. So if the date has not been established, then I want it to remain blank. So it's going to test this. It's going to go over and look, is D to D blank? And if the answer is yes, then N we blank. Okay. If not, then it's going to jump. This computer is going to, or the computer language is letting them know that, okay, if none of that's true, then we want to do this. And we're going to subtract E minus D. So the calendar, when it comes off, put the calendar that it went on, and we're going to get 63. All right, so that's if you, I'm going to show you something that we're doing. So I'm nesting all of this underneath the active use, and I've protected this area. All right, so this will be automatically generated based on the calendars. This, however, is going to be generated. I threw this in because I always like to have units. It's always going to be D in this case, but what if someone else is looking at this and I'm not around to explain it? So I'd rather just have all the units come down as D. I'm going to type in day, right? This is just to make it easy. So when you're on the column or row 2 and you want to put a array formula into any row, the array formula looks from beneath it, either adjacent to it or beneath it. So if I was to go A to A, it would not know what to do because it doesn't look up. It doesn't look to A1. So it'll only look from the row that it's at or from one that's below it for the most part. There's some tricks as well, but let's just go with that as a rule of thumb. So when you're writing, if you're setting something like this up and you want to put an array formula in there for some reason, it is if error, put everything in it. Array formula is ifs. I like using ifs. Row A2 to A, right here. I know it's redundant, equals 2. I want the units in there. Okay. If is blank D2 to D. So D2 to D. That's here. Oops, sorry. Here. If that's blank, then I want it to remain blank. I want uh, this O to remain blank. Okay. Column O to remain blank. Now, if that's not blank, okay, then I want it to say day. That's all. If I didn't do that, then I'd have days going all the way down there. So this is a real cheesy way to get this done. All right, on the other array formula, so we're going to use a array formula here to do some calculations. And this is based off of the 63. So it's going to analyze the number of days and it's going to take into account, um, it's going to convert these number of days into the chargeable day format that the rental company has. So if you look at these numbers, let's take a quick peek here. If you take a look at these numbers, rental companies on day 3 automatically roll you into 1 week. On week 2, plus 1 day, it rolls you into a month. Okay, and you can do this by dividing 3,450, and you'll see that it's somewhere around 1,700, a little bit. So it's just a little bit higher than 2 weeks. All right. So on 2 weeks plus a day, you are now into a month-long rental. It's a shitty way of doing it. That's what the rental companies do. They make but a ton of money doing it that way. So take a look here. So 1605 divided by 2 is 2 days and an hour or so. So these are delivered prices. Now there's going to be some taxes and other charges. So this isn't the charge that you give your client, it's your cost. And then you have to add in whatever their additional charges are. So if you're, depends on where you're at and the delivery fees and all that stuff. So you have to calculate that in. But anyhow, I'm showing you essentially what we're doing. So here I'm going to do another array formula. So if error, array formula, if is blank D to D, like we did before. If there's nothing in D to D, which is your calendar, if there's nothing in there, then I want this column to remain blank. All right. First, I'm checking row 2 and putting a title in. Sorry about that. So, well, no, actually, we're checking to see if it's blank. If it is, keep it blank. If we're in row 2, then I could move this over to this side too. One way or the other, it's fine with these two. If D2 to D is equal to 2, row number 2, that's what it's looking for, then I want this title to go in there, expected costs. And when you're putting these in, you put Control Enter, and that will shift it down as if you're to get it like that. So instead of expected costs running side by side, it moves the cost underneath expected. And that's just a control shift in the programming. Or excuse me, yeah, Control Enter in the program. So now we're going to do some checking. If or is end-to-end blank? Is end-to-end. So now it's looking here. Is any of this blank? If this is blank, I want to keep this blank. All right. So I'm checking to see if this column has blanks in it. If it does, I want to make sure this column has blanks in it. All right. And then, so we've checked, and now we're going to go through a series of sequences. N2 to N less than 3, N2 to N less than 3, I want to multiply it times the daily rate. So if it's 1 or 2, I want to go towards the daily rate. So F2 is this column. All right. And then we're going to do the same thing. So once we've tested it for less than 3, if the answer is no, it's not less than 3, and it's not blank, then it's going to jump over to here. It's already tested for less than 3, so you don't have to worry about testing it again or anything like that. So when I now test it for, well, is it less than 15? Now, if you put it the other way around, you're going to have problems, but it tests for this one first. If the answer is no, it jumps to this one, and it's going to say, Is it less than 15? If so, I want to round up the division of whatever these days are divided by a week, which is 7 days. Okay, close parentheses, and I want to multiply that times the weekly rate, which is G2. So this thing, that's the weekly rate. I want to multiply it times that. If neither the days are less than 3 or the days are less than 15, then it's going to jump over to true because that's the final option. Okay. And in the final option, we're going to round up again. We're going to take n divided by 28. I'm sorry. See if I can write this. Divided by 28. All right. And then I'm going to multiply it times the monthly rate, which is this one, H. Okay. So that's what's happening here. So that's how you do it. All right. And then actual costs, actual costs are pretty straightforward. It's going to read everything down below. And this is actually, I should formulate this. All right. Let me do it this way. So actually, actual cost is going to come from the billing of the rental company. So this is probably not a good column to have. This should be in your, yes, you need to have it when you're doing your full tracking, but move it to, I would move this whole thing over. I could even delete this and it wouldn't hurt anybody. So let's delete this column. Let's delete that. Let's color that, and boom, there. So that's all pretty. All right. And then what'll happen is you could send this to accounting. So this was your expected costs because of this is your actual use. So that's your expected cost. Accounting's going to check a expected cost against their receipts. And that's where you're going to see that difference. And you want to find out what that delta is from the rental company, because it has happened where the rental company didn't pick it up for 2 days, but I called it off and we end up in an argument. I got proof that I called it off. So what they ended up doing was reducing back they charged me, but they had to reduce back my invoice based on the actual use because I did call it off. And so you have to have that kind of tracking. They will take you for every chance they can because they need to. They're buying new equipment all the time. So it's just their business model, and the salesmen are not necessarily focused on you. So that's how that works. That's all I wanted to show you. That gets you started to do stuff. So hopefully that has helped you out. We're going to do a couple more of these quickies, not here, but on other videos. And feel free to write in the comments or send me an email. Go to the website, buildersflux.com, and send me a comment. Join the community. It's all free. All right. Thanks. Bye.